From Screen Junkies Studios in the heart of Los Angeles, this is Screen Junkies Movie Fights. Now your host, Andy Signore.
Hello, Screen Junkies, and welcome to another wonderful edition of Movie Fights. Oh my God, look who's next to me.
Hi.
Oh my God. They've been demanding you. We got you here.
You're about to be disappointed.
Before we get to you, let me set up how awesome today's episode is. Today we have so many awesome topics. Tomorrowland, it's pretty divisive. We're going to talk about it. Was it great? Was it not? Point Break remake trailer. Wow, that was an interesting one. We're going to hit that one, of course. Which Disney character deserves its own spin-off? Best high school movie in honor of so many of you graduating. And so many more fun things. As always, don't forget, you can always pick your fight on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. To zoom ahead to any fight you hear. If you don't like something, just go skip ahead. iTunes, real quick, other housekeeping. I want to make sure you all remember we have a new RSS feed. So please, as I always say this, go subscribe to us there. We were #1 in film and TV last week.
Wow.
Yay, thanks to you guys. So
take that, serious shows.
Serial. Go back there. Please keep rating, subscribing if you haven't already. It's great. It just syncs to your phones and stuff, and you get to know when our feeds. You can listen to it in the car and stuff. You can hear us complaining about movies there. So check it out. Please subscribe to our new RSS feed. It's in the description below on YouTube. All right. Actually, one more thing before I introduce you. There's a new T-shirt store, as many of you know. I don't have it yet, but I was just told there's a Movie Fights T-shirt available in our store. I'm teasing it because I'm hoping by next week I'll be able to don it for you all, but maybe one of you will get it before me if you go order now. But basically, our districtlines.com/Screen Junkies shirt. Screen Junkies/Screen Junkies. It's in the description below. District Lines is where you go look for us, Screen Junkies. And there's finally a Movie Fights TV T-shirt. Spencer's wearing another wonderful design over there. Nice. So go check them out if you want to support us there. Great. All right, let's meet today's amazing gladiators.
Today's fighters are Andre Meadows, host and creator of Black Nerd Comedy, first-time fighter. Jermaine Lucier, writer and reporter for SlashFilm.com.
We misspelled it, guys.
Spencer Gilbert, writer of Honest Trailers, 4 wins, 4 losses.
Get over 500.
Jermaine, I apologize.
That's okay.
JT?
That's the girl spelling, but, you know. I will spill that role on today's show, I guess.
We spelled Jermaine wrong or Lucier?
No, Jermaine wrong.
Spell like a girl, fight like a man.
Oh, man. Is his title card all wrong the whole show? We'll find out in a second.
We'll find out. Stay tuned.
All right. Before we get to you, you know him, you love him. He's the writer of Honest Trailers. Spencer, thanks for being here.
Yeah, good to be back, guys. It's been a while.
It has been a while. You got some hefty fighter. I mean, they're gonna bring it to you today, right?
I fully expect it.
These
I'm
are
ready.
2 demanded gladiators that are about to take you on.
Well, since losing in the championship round, I've been training under a waterfall, just arguing against myself. I think I'm ready.
All right, let's meet these 2 first-time fighters. Jermaine, welcome. I love Slash Film. I love
Thank
it.
you.
It's my go-to blog. I shouldn't say that since Screen Junkies has its own, but I go there. I go to Slash Film all the time. I love it. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on the show, be amongst these wonderful toys, and you find gentlemen. We'll see what happens.
It's going to be epic. And then, last but not least, you've demanded this man, the Mr. Black Nerd comedy man himself. It's Andre Meadows.
Hey.
Literally, the fans are like going nuts. Have you seen it?
We've been wanting this to happen for a while, and I'm glad we finally were able to do it.
You're a busy man.
I go to a lot of conventions, so when you guys are like, we film every Friday, and I'm like, I'm on a plane, and until they let me to use the phones there, I had to just do it this way. So no, this is great. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad there's toys in front. They're usually behind me, and I'm glad to talk about movies. Although I'm really concerned I'm just going to blank at some point during the thing.
It won't happen.
Just keep moving your mouth. That's what we all do.
Spit it out.
Like, Ninja Turtles, I don't know what they are. I forgot.
Great. So, rules reminder.
Yeah.
You're going for passion and facts and just you want to. It's about the arguments. It's not about which movies you're. I like it because it's my favorite movie. You got to tell me why, and you got to tell me why the other 2's movies are not as good. All right. And to help us be honest and fact check everything, as always, it's the main man, Dan Murrell.
Hi guys.
On the Dan Cam.
How's it going?
Woo. This is gonna be a fun battle, I hope. Right? I don't want to overhype it, but
A lot of experts up there. I might not have a lot to do today. We'll see.
we'll see. But Dan's there
Plenty.
to fact check you if you're wrong.
Check the
Or if you
names,
have a
the
question.
name spelling, and the things of that nature.
I
Did we
should've
spell your
fact-
name wrong in the lower
I
third?
didn't
Can
see
we
it.
pop it up one more time?
Pop it up.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
It's right.
Yay!
Thank you very much, Screen
The
Junkies.
Twitter's right too, right? Perfect. All right. Good job. We did spell it right. You deserve
But mine
it.
says Barbara. Why is this happening?
Barbara.
All right. The first trailer for Point Break and its remake finally dropped.
More like
wow.
pointless break.
Like Point broke.
So, we have to talk about this, right? So at Marcus Narvaez asked us, Point Break remake trailer, do we love it or hate it? Guys, did we all love it?
No.
No.
What? Well, that's not very interesting.
Kind of sucks.
But we kind of
Moving on.
So I think we just I hate when this happens because sometimes there's a trailer comes out and we want to talk about it. So I'm putting it up. This is called Devil's Advocate, fellas, and this is how it works. If one of you would like to go against the popular opinion and fight for the Point Break remake, you will earn double points. Would anyone like to take up that cause?
I'm willing. I think it's what Bodhi would have wanted to like go with the flow and
Spencer, you're
make
doing
the
it.
case.
Wow.
Yeah.
Spencer's going to argue for the Point Break remake
Yeah,
trailer.
It's appropriate that it's
So
with-
now, Spencer, you love it.
Oh, I love this movie. I
Great.
could not be more pumped.
So in order to make this fair, we know we're going to team you two up.
Okay.
You two are teamed up.
Okay.
You're hating it. If you win, you're going to each get a point.
Okay.
If Spencer wins, he gets 2 points.
Dose points.
All right.
Dos. Two, Utah.
Utah.
Two,
Utah.
Give me 2. Give me 2, Utah.
Two. All right.
All right, back down.
So
one
back to the
child.
question.
Seriously.
Two. Now we're going to ask again. Spencer,
Yeah.
Point Break trailer. Love it or hate
man.
it?
Get ready for an adrenaline-soaked thrill ride.
Acting.
Hold on to your butts, guys. Okay, let me make a case for why this trailer isn't the worst thing in the world. And it starts with the fact that that Point Break is a dumb movie. It's a fun, dumb movie, but it's thoroughly dumb. We love it because there's stiff wooden acting. We love it because the premise is ridiculous. We love it because it's stupid, and this trailer is exactly the stupid Point Break remake we deserve. This has the guy is definitely Keanu worthy of how bad he is at delivering. It sounds like he's reading everything off a cue card. It has, it looks kind of like a GoPro stunt compilation video. But I love GoPro stunt compilation videos. Those are super fun, and that with a high budget is kind of interesting. And wisely, I think instead of trying to recreate a Patrick Swayze character, they're going with like this new kind of most interesting man in the world. Like, yes, we disrupt financial markets. Like that's probably smart of them to not go straight at recreating a Bodhi character. And I think that we need to get off like our 90s nostalgia high horse and realize that Point Break, while incredibly enjoyable, is not Citizen Kane. It's not The Shining. It's not some untouchable masterpiece. It's a movie with a dumb premise about a cop going undercover with surfers, and this is a movie with a dumb premise about a cop going undercover with like wingsuit money destroying sports enthusiasts. Yes. So, let's enjoy it.
All right.
Jermaine.
I think it's appropriate that Devil's Advocate is with Insomnia because that's what the trailer did. I mean, come on. Like, I agree that Point Break is not, poetry. It's not Shakespeare, but it has a pulse, and none of these guys have a pulse. Even being cheesy, Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze have some charisma, have some swagger. These guys do not have any swagger, and yeah, the effects look really good, but I'd much rather see like a big IMAX movie where, that's the point instead of this story that. It just looks like it's drawing from all these different places. It doesn't look focused. I don't know why they're flying around. I don't know. The trailer starts with like this like thing that's gonna like set it up as this really epic like sports movie almost, right? I don't even remember what the trailer quote said, but something like that. And I was like, is this an action movie? It's coming out of Christmas, and this is going to be like this it reminded me of like an IMAX 3D thing, but that's not what I want for my Point Break movie. I want some charisma. I want some fun, and this had none of that.
Andre.
Some things should just be left in the past, and I think this is one of them. I mean, yes, everything's getting rebooted, and I understand that, but some things are just a product of their time. And Point Break, going undercover cop to join a band of surfers, like that is so retro that does not need to be touched. But if you're going to do that, then you have to make it as ridiculous as possible. This movie was trying so hard to be super serious about these extreme sports guys.
Exactly.
It's like, no, man. We just saw Vin Diesel and Paul Walker jump out of a car jump out of a plane in cars and like Paul Walker running across a bus to jump and grab a car with no concept of gravity, Vin Diesel punching, the ground and Hulk style and breaking it. Like, that's how extreme we've gotten with things now. That's how Point Break, if you're going to do a reboot, it's got to be ridiculous. You cannot take something like this that seriously. And it's for everyone to just be so serious when you're like, this looks like some X Games type of movie or something.
I'd rather watch the X Games.
Yeah.
Because like at least that has a sense of fun and it's serious for a reason.
Yeah.
This is serious to bore me.
Yeah.
It's like-
Well,
so
I'm glad
ridiculous.
you brought up the Fast and the Furious comparison, because this does look exactly like Fast and the Furious, but with stunts instead of cars. And since when did that become a bad thing? I love the Fast and the Furious movies. They're dumb popcorn movies that I can turn my brain off and watch. And that's exactly what this looks like. And you said unfocused. It looks exactly like that kind of story of the cliched cop going undercover with the extreme group, and he falls in love with the girl and you don't know where his loyalties lie. These kind of stories, they're timeless. They're like Shakespeare. Each generation brings something new to the table, a slight different twist on a tale as old as time. And
I gave the trailer a shot until the Keanu Reeves guy was like, because I don't even remember his name. Doesn't even deserve it. He's like, I don't think these are regular people. I think they're extreme sports people like me. Like, oh,
see,
dude.
and that's hilarious. We're all laughing. That to me was funny. I think that if you can turn the switch and realize that all this over seriousness is high comedy, then I think it's really enjoyable, and it got me excited to go there, maybe under the influence of something, and just laugh my ass off through this entire X Games GoPro commercial.
I think if you're under the influence of anything, you're going to fall asleep because you can only watch people jump out of planes for so long until they, just put you to sleep.
The last time I saw Point Break was a live version that my friend was in.
Point Break Live is
Point Break
amazing.
Live with a splash zone, and I can guarantee you that will be more entertaining than this movie.
That's better than anything. That's just the best night of your
then
life.
you
That's not a
agree?
fair comparison.
No, it's a very. But I also feel like when it gets to that point, that should be your lesson of like when people are making live cheesy versions of your movie as a theater production, that means it's not reboot material.
So just to be clear, you two would never have rebooted it.
I don't think it should have ever been rebooted.
I have no problem with them rebooting it, but I think it should have had the tone of the Fast and Furious movies, and I don't get that tone from the trailer.
Really?
I don't.
No.
I think they're doing it way too straight, and I think maybe we'll see it in that tone of the Fast and Furious movies, and maybe that is what they're going for, because trailers don't always sell the movie right. But I got it that they were going for this as like, a serious action movie, and that's not what I want for my Point Break reboot.
Yeah, I think that going so straight and going so serious is funny. Like, they're in kind of a weird judo way. Like, that's hilarious that they're so committed to, like, yes, these really are wingsuit criminals who are stealing money.
did the stunts for real.
And then who did the stunts for real, man.
But I think there's
they're doing it for the thrill.
There's unintentional comedy, and then there's unintentional comedy that's really unfunny.
Yeah.
That's so unintentionally.
Do we think the original was intentional?
No.
Comedy?
No, but it's just.
Were they playing it straight?
They
or
were.
was that
They were
playing it
what was
straight.
funny is how so committed they were to such a dumb idea, and that's what this reminds me of. It's complete commitment to a really dumb idea that should never happen.
No, it was of the time, exactly. And then that time when people like Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze made a movie, it had this weird sort of energy to it. Dirty Dancing, you watch Patrick Swayze's, big movie. That movie is terrible, but he brings something to it, and it's a really weird tone.
It's not a terrible movie. That's a classic story.
I don't love it that much, but you know what I mean. Like it's just at that
puts
time you
baby
could
in a
make those.
corner.
No, you can't. You can put this movie in a corner.
Yeah.
Final thought, Andre, on your side.
I do not appreciate them remaking Point Break when they should have instead remade Surf Ninjas.
Well, sure. Yes.
want more-
Hollywood, get on that. I think that this looks like a remake of Fast and the Furious, which was itself a remake of Point Break, and this is just coming full circle, fulfilling the karmic destiny, and Bodhi would have been happy about it. I'm sorry, this is devil's advocate. I don't believe any of this.
All right, again, it's not about what I think. I'm going against the arguments. And this was tough, actually. Spencer, congrats. I think you did
good job.
brought some good points there. So, but did you bring enough?
I will not be seeing this in theaters.
Can we all, regardless of how I win this, can we all agree if we support this movie, they're gonna make more of these dumb '90s remakes? Enough.
I love that you're like, I'm arguing for this, but just for the record, just so that my slate is clear.
Yeah, it's like a good trial lawyer. You know they're guilty, but you gotta defend them.
Yeah. Good job.
I think I was really close, Spencer, but I think Jermaine's right in that I was too serious. Like, the first one cast Gary Busey, right? So I mean,
Yes.
they weren't taking it that seriously.
They knew what they were getting
They knew what they were into, and at least he knew what he was getting into. Whereas the fact you even said I don't even know the guy's name, I can't remember. Like, there's just really was nothing remotely fun about, and what I think, sadly, as close as you were, because your
Valiant
point of
effort.
them, your point that it was like, well, isn't that sort of they're so committed that
It's kind of funny.
It's kind of funny. I
only
think it
law
is,
I obey
but
is gravity.
I don't think any of us want to see it. So for that reason, it's tough. And that I gotta give the points to
Yeah,
the two
fair enough.
fellas. who
Fair
were
play.
Very
All right.
close though. So Jermaine and Andre are on the board. But Spencer, great. That was close.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. You almost convinced me.
Dan, any?
I know.
I'm
Sorry.
It was good. It was
I'm so sorry.
Yes, very quickly. The new Johnny Utah's name is Luke Bracey.
No, we said it wasn't worth it.
He played Cobra Commander in G.I. Joe 2, but I don't think you ever saw his face.
Jesus.
So if you don't see his face, he's good.
And Jermaine, the line you were referring to is actually one of my favorite pieces of expository dialogue I've ever heard in a trailer, which is, I believe that, like me, the people behind these robberies
See?
are extreme athletes.
It's hilarious. That's the new I'm an FBI agent for our generation. I'm
I
sorry.
believe like me.
I believe, like me. Yeah. Also, Dirty Dancing is 71% fresh on Rotten
There you go.
Tomatoes,
That makes
so-
sense. That makes sense.
All
Makes
right,
sense.
it was close, but round 2. Tomorrowland got released last week and has been getting mixed reviews. It really has, you either love it or you. I guess it's a lot of just people in the middle. So Brian Hendrick on Twitter asked, Tomorrowland, see it in theaters, rent, or skip it? So which one are we going with? Do we want to actually see this in theaters? Is it worthy? Should it just be something you see at home, or is it something you just want to skip altogether? Let's put put our audience's minds at ease to help them know where they need to go with this movie. And Jermaine, we're starting with you.
I say rent it. I did not particularly like the movie. I think I watched the movie and I walked out of it and I felt like I'd been force-fed all this information that made very little sense, and I kept trying to make light of it and trying to make sense of it. What is the point of Tomorrowland? What are these people doing in Tomorrowland? Does Tomorrowland...
Sorry, to be clear, we are probably going to spoilers.
No, I won't spoil anything. I won't spoil
Well,
anything.
there may be a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
We're going to open this up to spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie, skip ahead to the next battle. Let's open it up
Okay.
so people have seen it.
Okay.
Let's go for it.
It's just, and so there's so many questions I had walking out of the movie, but at the same time, I'm a huge Disney fan and I'm a huge Brad Bird fan, and Brad Bird has never let me down before. And watching this, there was a sense of wonder, and there was a sense of a couple of the action scenes were really good. So I walked out very, very conflicted. The more I think about it, the less I like it, but at the same time, I really want to see it again, because I feel like with lowered expectations, without thinking it's a Brad Bird movie, without being like, I hope Damon Lindelof pulled this off this time, it's way, I think I'd like it again, which is why I say rent. But at the same time, it is way more in line with Lindelof's stuff, and I actually like Damon Lindelof a lot. I think he comes up with great ideas, but the execution, he very rarely pulls it off, and Tomorrowland fits right in there with, there's amazing ideas at every single turn in this movie, except they never ever pay or explain off anything. And I don't need everything force-fed, but I need to have a little bit of context. And this movie is like the first act of a 3-act movie that I really want to see. I say rent it.
Andre, where do you stand on this?
I say rent it as well. I actually really liked it to start. Like there's the whole sequence of you see young Franco, George Clooney's character. You see him as a young boy, and he always has these dreams, and then Athena, this magical girl, is all like, hey, you need to come to Tomorrowland, and that whole sequence is really great. When you first see Tomorrowland, it's great. When Casey, the new girl, when she gets the pin and gets to see Tomorrowland, there's this beautiful one shot that just shows the whole land, and it gets you really pumped. And so that's where you're thinking that the movie is going to go. And then it becomes basically like a chase movie. It's like they have to try to find a way to get back. There's these robots who have Men in Black style programs, and yeah, it's like, yeah, they're like doing like this, and
like a Disney ride.
Yeah, and some of that was really exciting. Like I said, I think Athena, which they don't show that much of in the trailer for reasons, spoilers coming up, is the best character in it. But when it gets to sort of that second half, particularly into the third act, it loses its place. It's like it had all this good start, and then it tries to put everything into place and explain everything. And some things that you feel like should have more emphasis don't. Some things that shouldn't have that much emphasis do. And really, what the two things that boil down for me is that Hugh Laurie's character, David Nix, he's basically the villain in this, but he's not really a villain, because there's a machine that basically they can use to see our world, and so they figure out a way to project it oppositely to say like, oh, here's where your future is looking like, and it looks bad. You guys need to do something about it. And they planted in our head thinking that we're gonna like be like, oh man, the future's messed up. We got to do something, and we don't do anything. Kind of like in real life. So we're just like, eh. So then that's why his character's like, well, okay, you guys saw the future. It's grim, and you don't want to do anything about it. Well, then fine, you all die. Tomorrowland's good. We're fine. We got our own dimension. We're safe. And so it wasn't really so much of he being bad. It's like he tried something that didn't work. So when it then turns into the, oh, now we got to defeat the evil villain, straight up third act type of thing that we see in a lot of these action movies, it just didn't feel the same way. And then for the biggest problem for me was George Clooney's character. He's great in the movie, and his character's great in the movie. He's very disgruntled. He apparently was in Tomorrowland. It was X out, not anymore. And there's all these different reasons why, but they hardly focus on a bunch of them. The main one they seem to put the most focus on is when he finds out something about Athena. I'm going to spoil it. Spoiler. Athena is a robot. So he meets her as a little girl. He kind of gets a little like a bit of a crush. And then when he starts growing, it's like, wait, why is she still the same look? Finds out that, oh, you're not real. One of the lies that he learns. And I feel like there's these other reasons also, for him being disgruntled. But I feel like they put so much of focus specifically on that in the movie that it felt like that there should have been something better. Because at this time, you're like, George Clooney, you're just like 40, 50 years later. Like, that should not be... If other
still
things
get turned on by
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Robot girl.
Yeah, well, I'm just like the other things I can understand you still being upset. This one, I feel like you would have probably gotten over by now. So, yeah, I feel like it, like same thing with the Lennon Law thing. I just feel like it just completely loses itself at the end, and it's unfortunate because it has a great start.
So you both are being pretty harsh. You're still saying Rent, so I want to come back and
Yeah,
explain why it's worthy of renting, because you're kind of hating on it
Yeah.
a lot. Spencer, where do you stand?
I say see it. I guess I agree with you too that it's by no means a perfect movie, but what's good about this movie is what deserves to is why you should see it in theaters. It is visually amazing. This is a movie that, if nothing else, deserves like the IMAX experience of just going in on a big screen, the swimming pool's tracking shot, the house escape sequence, the Eiffel Tower breaking open and a rocket ship shooting out. That's why you go see movies in theaters. And if I only saw perfect movies in theaters, I would see Mad Max and nothing else for the rest of my life. That you should give movies that are original and that are ambitious a chance. And, I know it's based on a theme park zone, but it's an original story. And a couple other things I liked about it is the protagonist. This is maybe my favorite female Disney protagonist, simply because she's not a princess and doesn't want to be royalty. Similarly, the robot steals the show. She's awesome. She's kick-ass in a PG-rated movie. I love that about it. And then finally,
PG or PG-13?
It's PG.
Right?
yeah. So this, and again, this is a movie for children. We make fun of movies or criticize movies for a living, but my inner 9-year-old, I would love to take him to that movie and come out of it just with a sense of wonder and with a sense of the most powerful line in the movie for me was, I know things are bad. How are we going to fix it? And I think that's a message that kids should hear and need to hear. And it was kind of made me sit up straight in my chair when I heard it.
Yeah, but for me, it's like that is a good point. But at the same time, how do they fix it? We steal everybody that you can fix
Earth
it.
is effed.
And then we just
steal
and then we
all
just
the brain power.
and we just keep them for no reason. I agree, and it was a great point about seeing it in the theaters. I mean, Brad Bird specifically tailored this to IMAX and shoot it in IMAX. So if you're going to see it in theaters, see it in IMAX. But I say rent it still because I think it's a movie that's worthy of your time because these guys do know how to build a world. I just think the world isn't that worthy. So I think it's worth seeing just to be part of the conversation about it. But it's the conversation that's going to be dead in 2 weeks once it's out of theaters because it's not doing that well because it's not particularly that good. And I think it's a movie that'll play really well on the Disney Channel. And, like when I have kids, I'll be like, oh, yeah, there's this movie that you can watch on a Saturday afternoon while I nap or something. Like I'll let it be. Yeah. I'd let this movie be my parent for a while. But that's why I say rent. Like I said, I want to see it again, even though I know it's bad, which is why I say rent it too.
Yeah, I understand that it is a lot of beautiful stuff in there, but I also remember that a lot of people also have 90-inch television, so it's going to look just as beautiful at home. And it's funny you mentioned the afternoon. That was what I compared it to. I was like, you remember like when in the 90s when they would have those Disney movies like Apple Dumpling Gang and Return to Witch Mountain, and there would be these movies that you would show like Saturday after, like right after the cartoons. That's what this is. It's like it's just one of these movies that like it's there, but it's nothing necessarily too bad about it, but it's just not an overall film. But one of the big problems I had with it too is that it was trying to emphasize this message of like you need to be a dreamer. You need to we want people who create, who invent. And there's not really a lot of that in the movie. Like Casey, the main character, the whole premise of the thing they keep setting up is that she's this big inventor. She knows how to do these things. There's one sequence where she plays with like a drone to get into NASA because Tim McGraw,
with gloves, mind you.
with gloves,
She invented those two.
yeah, because
I'm just saying you can't use gloves on an iPhone, Spencer.
There are
She
special
invented the
gloves.
special gloves.
There are, they exist.
I guess she made those. But yeah, like that doesn't really happen. You don't really see her. There's literally like one scene where she's with her dad.
Fixes her dad's
She-
NASA space engineer project.
She picks like one like little wire and moves it over there and goes, it's fixed. I would like to have seen her be more of a tinkerer. And even young Frank, he makes this jetpack that doesn't work when he first sees it, but then when he gets into Tomorrowland, a giant robot comes out of somewhere, grabs it, fixes it.
That giant robot had the can-do spirit that kids need these days.
But I
then-
would like to see him do it. Like,
But UDC Frank has a lot of gadgets in his home. That's
Yeah.
probably the coolest part of the movie.
That is.
And I don't know why he has this big, weird, like train to Paris in the backyard somewhere. But okay. And also, like, I agree that Casey Robertson's character is really good and a very good heroine. But at the same time, what is the point of her at the very spoilers? It's like her big idea is let's drop a bomb on it. Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, well, we're gonna drop a bomb on it. Like, we're gonna blow up the thing, and then we're going to cut back to like, oh, we fixed Tomorrowland at the very end of the movie with this video we're shooting that makes no sense. And it's like, what? How did you do that? That's what I want to see. That's
Right.
what I want to see is in between.
it was a lot of telling.
This is a movie that we can nitpick to death, and I'm sure we will when the honest trailer comes out. But just from the big picture takeaways, this is like a breath of fresh air of optimism in a movie that I haven't seen in a long time. It's got a good message, no matter how it actually executes that message. It's a good takeaway for kids, and it's worthy of seeing in the biggest, largest screen possible.
All right, I've heard it all. I'm gonna make a call. Dan, any cleanup there?
Yeah, I was just looking at Damon Lindelof's. He has every movie is just like a geek controversy. It's Tomorrowland, World War Z, Star Trek Into Darkness, Prometheus, and Lost. He is.
Wow.
They all
He's
start.
very
They're all
divisive.
50-50s.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
all 50-50s.
Wow.
It's kind of amazing. He has a knack for it.
It's true. All right, this is tough because I keep saying this is tough. It's my new catchphrase.
If it wasn't tough, anybody could do it.
But I think I'm gonna have to, points were made by everybody that were strong that I've made here, and I think you guys you all were pointing out some serious flaws in the movie. But Spencer, I think you make a good point of like, how many of these do we get in the world where we have to go see these in the theater? And visually, it is probably one of the most beautiful movies we're going to see this year. And Brad Bird's style, whether the script was wrong or not, is something we should support. Spencer gets the points.
Thanks.
All right.
I do.
yeah.
All right, but good conversation there.
Just leave about
I think
50 minutes, an hour.
Do you think we all agree they wish
Once
they'd
you see
make
the beautiful Tomorrowland doesn't exist, peace.
When you rent it, just mute it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, round 3. Being a big fan of slashfilm.com,
Thank you.
one of your articles by one of your wonderful writers, Angie Han, asked this on a blog you guys did, which inspired, well, let's make this a movie fight. So credit where credit's due. This is where we got it from.
Thank you.
But which Disney character deserves its own spin-off movie? I thought that was fun, and I thought this would be something for you guys to try. And being Mr. Cartoon Master,
Remember me, Eddie?
well, even better for you. So, Andre, lead us off. Which Disney cartoon character deserves its own spin-off movie?
So many sidekicks that Disney's put out there, but I had to go
This
with
is in honor of Tinkerbell.
Yes.
Coming out with Reese Witherspoon playing Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell.
But yeah, go ahead.
next to Sophia Vergara. No, just fine. I chose Sebastian from The Little Mermaid. I think that, of course, a lot of people like that movie and for all its various reasons, but I gotta be real. The reason why I was able to see it, the reason why my dad was able to take me to see it was because it was like, oh man, that crab's funny. So that's how I gotta go. Because he was like, hey, Ariel, the human world is a mess. You have to see it's great. And he does the whole musical number. So that's what I want to see. I want to see Sebastian the Crab with his own movie. You obviously have to pair him up with a human because he didn't like the land. He didn't like, we get eaten up there, the fricassee. So I think it'd be cool to have him go to land, have him team up with a human, and maybe learn that maybe not all humans are so bad. while that crazy French chef is like trying to chase him and eat him.
Can we be clear that crab's funny? Crab is funny. Crab's not funny.
Not so funny.
Dan, fact check that.
Do I need to?
I think we all know. Spencer, who are you picking?
I hope we see eye to eye on this one because I'm picking Powerline from the Goofy movie.
Oh, wow. That's so good. Damn, that's going to be tough.
Powerline is a mixture of Michael Jackson and Prince in the Disney universe. And unlike a lot of side characters, he's a total mystery. There's no direct-to-DVD sequels that explain where Powerline came from. So I'm thinking he's voiced by Bruno Mars, who in a BuzzFeed article was pointed out looks exactly like him. It's creepy. They are identical human beings. But it starts with the big finale concert from a Goofy movie and then pauses, and Bruno Mars kicks in and goes, "It wasn't always this way." And then we go back to the origin story of Powerline, who's just a shy kid, and it's a Disney rock biopic musical that's funky. And unlike Disney movies where everyone's breaking in a song for no reason, you actually have an excuse to just kick into these awesome musical numbers. I'm going Powerline.
Wow.
It's good.
That is a deep cut. Jermaine, what are you picking?
Well, darling, if you've seen The Incredibles, one of the best characters is Edna Mode. She is voiced by Brad Bird, who directed the film. And she's basically, if you guys are Batman Begins fans, she's the Lucius Fox of the Incredibles world, where she creates all the costumes for all the superheroes in the world. And, I mean, we all love Batman Begins, and what's great about Batman Begins is you get to see how Batman becomes a superhero. Like, where did he get those wonderful toys, as the Joker would say. And Edna Mode is the person who creates those wonderful toys. I want to see a movie where we learn how she became this. How did you get involved in the superhero world? I mean, why do you hate capes so much? She's funny, she's clever, and I mean, we love superhero movies. We love superhero origin movies and superhero spin-off movies. It seems like it's perfectly right down that perfect center of everything we love. Disney, superheroes, cool accents. That was not her accent. I don't know what that was. Dr. Point. So I say Edna Mode from The Incredibles.
Fight. Great. Why is yours better than the others?
Oh, well, Sebastian we're going to talk about some musical numbers. Sebastian always brought the music, but he knew how to bring a party, and he also knew how to set the mood with Kiss the Girl. And I think that would be a really cool thing there. The problem I would have, I'm really almost with you with Powerline.
Okay.
But if Disney Channel and the Jim and the Holograms channel has taught me anything, the Powerline that we would think what we would want is not the Powerline we would get. We would get like a crazy, like just straight up current poppy Powerline, and that's not what I would want. I want like that straight up like hip hop 90s R&B rap.
Okay.
So yeah, whereas Sebastian can, bring the calypso at any time and he wants. And then also can talk about all the problems. He talked about all the problems with people in the Little Mermaid. He could talk about them, but even more updated one.
I mean,
they're all cute and sweet, but all they do is Snapchat and tweet under the sea.
Nice. I mean, I love Calypso, but after like the third or fourth Calypso song, it's like, okay.
Well, that's when you
enough
set the mood.
under the
Kiss
sea.
the girl.
Kiss the girl. Like, the steel drum guy's gonna need overtime pay.
Hey.
And I'm just wondering. I think that mine already has the framework for a movie of the rock biopic of starting out as this shy kid and becoming the biggest pop star in the Goofy universe. And what I would challenge you guys for is where's the that just sounds like a superhero origin story for someone that's not a superhero and never is one. They're just a costume designer. Like, where's the drama in that? They're just giving toys to more interesting people. And we know why she hates capes, because they get caught and stuff. And we saw the montage of people getting sucked into jet engines.
It's a great montage.
It's a fantastic montage, but like, are we just going to see that again? So where's the movie? I think Powerline actually has a framework for a movie behind it.
Well, I think the difference, I don't know.
Spencer going for blood.
That was good. Well, I think the problem is that we've seen both of your movies, maybe not with those characters, but Disney did a movie called Lemonade Mouth that's about a band going from zero to hero, and we've seen Finding Nemo. Exactly. And but Disney movies y'all crush. Come on. And I mean, Finding Nemo reminds me of like this under the sea sort of drama type thing. I mean, it's not exactly that. I just don't see Sebastian as a very well-rounded character. I don't understand where his backstory would be. I mean, Edna Mode at the same time, I don't know exactly where her backstory would be, but she's this little short person who can dominate all these superheroes. Like, where did you get this confidence? Where did you gain this access? Where'd you gain these skills? I mean, there's a world of stuff to mine there.
Final thought, Andre.
Come on, you guys. Don't you know that I am right? Don't be so uptight. Let me win this movie fight.
Oh, wow.
Didn't know we had to bring lyrics.
Choose me.
Wow. I didn't know you were Wayne Brady.
I know, right?
Wow, that was great. That was impressive with the rhymes and everything.
Cool. I just think that the a electro funk Disney animated musical sounds like the most fun movie I would see out of them in a long time.
Well, darling, I think you've all done really good job here, but mine is the most commercial, darling, and it's a sequel and it's a spin-off and it's everything that makes money.
All right.
Is this tough?
This is tough.
This is tough.
I'm between
trademark.
two. Between two, so it's not that tough. They've been tougher. It's tougher when you're between three. I think I'm gonna. It's Sebastian isn't a well-rounded character. I think you pointed that out. And the Calypso nod. You both got good knocks to knock Sebastian out, even though he's my favorite.
That's
He's a great
I
side
love him,
character.
but he's a good
sang
sidekick.
for you.
You didn't sell me on why he'd be a good leading man. But so between you two, this is tough because I see both reasons. I think you surprised us all, even the panel, with your pick, and I think we all legitimately were kind of intrigued and excited. And while I think I was close to yours, that alone pushed me over the edge. So Spencer's getting the point.
Yeah. That's fair. I will.
It was a
When
good
you
pick.
said that, I was like, no! Why didn't I think of that?
My girl has a Powerline T-shirt, so when you said that, I was like, oh, shoot.
Oh,
He's
man.
dressed like
It was a
Devo.
good
He's
pick.
so cool.
But you make a good point. It would be interesting, different side of the
Yeah.
superhero world to see.
Yeah.
Dan, sorry, anything from that?
Just a quick note: the original Powerline, voiced by '90s
Tevin Campbell.
R&B icon Tevin Campbell.
Kevin.
Kevin Campbell. was
And
power.
Jermaine, I think I heard you say, I don't know if you've seen Batman Begins. I think this audience.
I know. Yeah, you
It's
know.
pretty clear. It's a pretty good assumption that they
I wish you
probably
still got James Bond, right? Q.
Sure.
Q. Yeah, that's a
But
good
hey, that's
analogy.
fair.
Can you fact check? He looks like Bruno Mars.
Yes, he does look
Bruno
like
Mars
Bruno.
is a hip pop culture. I think
is a parallel,
if you're gonna pick
Tolerable,
pop.
down the middle.
Uptown Goof gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
All right, round 4. It was announced this week that there's going to be a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen remake in the works. So Shannon French asked us on Twitter, what movie flop would you like to see be remade? And I like this question because that could have been a good movie. It was not a good movie. And there's a lot of movies that have come out and probably didn't get their due. So this round, let's pick those movies that should get a fair shot. And Spencer, you're leading us on this one.
I'm going to go with the movie that was a good movie and could also be a good movie if we make it again, and that is Starship Troopers. I still silently think to myself, you kill bugs good, Rico, every time I step on an ant or anything insectoid. But this movie is an adaptation of an amazing sci-fi book that came out in 1960 that won the Hugo Award, and it is nothing like the book. It is a complete departure. It's almost like an FU to the book itself. He's gleefully making fun of everything the book says. So there's more material there to mine. In addition to having giant, all the troops are in giant robot death suits. They're in mechs, basically. So you had Starship Troopers. The bugs aren't just insects. They're also using weapons and flying around in spaceships. And it's just a completely different tone. There's no campiness. It's a deadly serious movie about the military and the grim sacrifices of war, which, there's a lot in the book that I completely disagree with because it's also kind of like if you're not in the military, you're worthless. But I think that there would be an interesting film and like an interesting Black Hawk Down take on Starship Troopers would be fun.
Jermaine, you're next.
One of my favorite movies growing up that I thought was a hit, but I didn't know was not a hit, was The Monster Squad, written by Shane Black, who did Lethal Weapon, The Predator, directed by Fred Decker. And it's basically a Universal Monsters Avengers, where you have a group of kids who are just hanging out, and they love monsters, and they end up in this weird plot where Van Helsing every 100 years has to come, has tried before, and you have to defeat these monsters, otherwise Dracula will take over the world. So they have to defeat Dracula, the Mummy, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Frankenstein. Frankenstein becomes their friend. And it's a group of kids fighting a group of monsters. It's action, it's comedy, it's got a hard R sort of thing to it. Wolfman's got nards. So the movie itself is great, but it's very underappreciated with people who are younger than us. And I think if you remade it, it already has all the elements. We love big superhero team up movies. We love monster movies. Godzilla was a big hit. And the people who want to do this, I mean, Shane Black, has talked about wanting to be involved. So this is actually a movie they've discussed, and it's never actually happened. But I think there's just, we need movies like we talked about Tomorrowland that are sort of wondrous and for the kids, and movies that when we grew up in the 80s and the 90s that we loved and really drew onto. Those movies don't exist anymore. The Monster Squad is one of those movies where it's a group of kids who build it up and have a lot of fun and do really cool things that you as a kid dream of doing. They have an awesome clubhouse. Mummy came in my house. I love the movie, and I would love to see it remade because it's a movie that needs to get out there and re-inspire a generation.
Good choice, Andre.
Back in 1993, I saw a movie that I thought was going to be amazing, and still in a way I kind of feel like it is, but in a way that it's so much of a departure from its source material. And I can understand because at that time it was still relatively new to try something like this. But in this day and age when video games and movies are combining so much more and more together, I think no movie should be remade more than Super Mario Brothers. I think, I don't know what happened with this thing. I mean, you had a pretty basic story. You got two guys, Mario and Luigi, saving the princess from the evil King Koopa, and somehow this movie happened with a completely another dimension where dinosaurs evolve like humans, and it's very dark and gritty when you're thinking about Mario Brothers being so light and colorful. And it was really the first time that they really tried to do a video game movie like that, and boy, did it not work. And it didn't help that Jurassic Park comes out a month later and go, this is how dinosaurs really are done, guys. So I felt it had a bad rap there. But nowadays, we got so much of the Mario mythos out there from all the different games, all the different characters, animation, CG, particularly, which looks a lot like a lot of our video games, is right there. I think it's very easy to make a really cool and possibly animated Mario Brothers movie that could be very much true to the source material of the games, while at the same time having a nice, fun action adventure. We're seeing that happen. Sly Cooper's supposed to have a movie. Ratchet and Clank's going to have a movie. So how Mario cannot get in that would be great. And one of the things that happened with the whole Sony hack was they actually had found emails between Sony and Nintendo talking about the possibility of making an animated Mario Brothers movie. So when Sony, who has the rival console, the PlayStation, is like, we still want to work with you to make a Mario movie, it shows right there that it needs to be made.
Wow, thoughts, you guys?
All right, I think both good choices. You guys are doing really well here. I think a Mario movie, the problem with it is, do we need another white guy saves the princess movie? I mean, how many times?
He's Italian.
He's Italian. But, you could cast him dark. And that's just such an iconic series that the reason Nintendo hasn't done it again is they won't let any of their properties get touched is they know somebody's going to screw it up. I'm a huge Legend of Zelda fan, huge Metroid fan. I don't want to see those as movies. They live as video games. I think Mario should stay like that. Starship Troopers, it's absolutely true the novel could be totally remade into its different movie, but the first movie was a pretty big hit. It wasn't a huge hit, but it was a hit. It spawned like 3 other sequels. So I don't see, direct to DVD, but Casper Van Dien did come back for 1 or 2 of them. So come on, I mean,
what else is he gonna do?
Rico's Roughnecks. I love that movie. So I just don't see why. I mean, where the Monster Squad, nobody really saw it. Enough people saw and know Starship Troopers that I feel like a remake might be like, really, we're going to redo that again. It was also done kind of recently, '97, where the effects were pretty good. So I mean, the effects will definitely be better in 2015, 2017, or whatever. But I think the effects are going to be. It's going to be negligible.
Okay, cool. My issue with the Monster Squad stuff is you're saying it's like an Avengers-style team-up of everyone, but where are the good monster solo movies to make it an epic event when all these monsters team up? Universal's trying to do that.
Yeah.
They tried to do it with Frankenstein, Dracula Untold, and Frankenstein
Retconned, but yes.
with abs now or whatever it was. And those movies are huge flops, so I would not care if those characters all teamed up together. I think it's the Batman versus Superman, all the Justice League is here now problem, where these monsters need to be relevant again before it's a big deal for them to all team up together. And Mario, God, I really want to see a Mario movie. But I'll only take issue with the fact that you said, like, it's a pretty basic story. It's a pretty psychedelic, really weird story of, like, an Italian plumber saving a princess in dinosaur land. Like, that is
Eating mushrooms a lot.
Eating mushrooms a lot. Like, unless you're just making it so cartoonish in such a video game, like, you're just getting a cartoon. It's not a movie.
The problem with video game movies is that it's way more interactive. You have a way more fun experience playing it and putting your own spin on it than watching somebody else's take sent at you. That's why so few of them are so good. And I think Mario, especially, is such a blank slate character. That's why we love him. We can put whatever we want on him: Luigi, Princess Toad, etc.
Yeah, but I think that that's true for a lot of the video game movies we've seen in the past. I mean, Double Dragon, Tomb Raider, all those movies. But I think that we've seen movies recently like Wreck-It Ralph where you can see that even though you have these characters, there's ways that you can play with their mythos. Like Wreck-It Ralph's whole thing was like, I was always the bad guy, but I didn't want to be the bad guy. We could play that same thing with the Mario games. You know, I'm sure people would want to see Princess in action. Even in some of the games themselves, we've had Princess Peach in action. We've got new characters like Rosalina who are becoming very popular and powerful. So I think that there's a lot of ways that you can play within that world, and because it is that blank slate, you can be a little bit more creative. So you can tap into the nostalgia of people knowing that franchise, but also do something fun and creative and enjoyable. And I think now you have the type of people in place that can do that, as opposed to the 90s where it was just like, oh, it's a name, let's just write off the cash cow.
But you know what's going to bug me about that is around the hour mark of that movie when I'm listening to, oh, it's a me, oh, let's go to here to save the princess. Like, that is a really, really awful voice if we're going to keep that to listen to the whole time.
And Wreck-It Ralph is a character who was a new character. You know, all the characters you know in that movie don't do anything in that movie.
Mario was almost in that movie, Dan.
Yeah, but Nintendo wouldn't.
They wanted too big of a part, or they too much control over how he was shown.
I think he or somebody is on a image in the back of that, but I could be wrong. And I agree. I understand you would need to set up all of the Universal monsters to sort of have an Avengers style thing. But you could also just, like Warner Brothers originally wanted to do, just do Justice League. There are characters that you know well enough. Everybody knows the Mummy, and there's been a successful movie. There's been successful movies of all those characters, maybe not the new versions, but you can just throw them all in one movie and have a bunch of kids fight them. And I think it's recognizable enough that people will go see it.
You know who's more recognizable than them? Mario.
It's a me.
It's a me, Mario. I just really think it needs to happen. I mean, like, Monster Squad's a great idea. The only thing I'm concerned about with Monster Squad is that it could also fall into that Point Break category where someone tries to remake it, make it all serious, and it's like, you know, Wolfman's Got No Hearts. If you got that, it try to make it just like, oh, now we got to defeat these monsters. It could come off a little bit.
But won't it be the most sad when there's a bad Mario movie that comes out? Like, won't that really?
We already had that.
No, that never happened. That never happened.
Anything at this point. You could have Vin Diesel be Mario. I gotta save the princess for my family, my brother. Like anything. Yeah, see? Anything at this point is a plus.
Koopa or one of those little.
All right, Dan. Any last little thoughts here before I make a ruling?
Yeah, the Frankenstein with Abs movie is I, Frankenstein. And Mario is not in Wreck-It Ralph because the writer said they could not figure out a way to incorporate him, but they've already confirmed that he will be in Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Oh. Hey. Well, of course, they saw how well it did. They're like, crap, get it in. Which is the same reason Barbie was in Toy Story 2.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we all agree there's one movie everyone sort of wants to see. And while there were some good arguments, I think it is, you can't get any worse than they did, and he deserves something. It's Mario.
Yeah.
You had a great argument. And Wreck-It Ralph was the one I was waiting for you to sort of give me a point of. They have done a Lego movie, another version. They have done them well. So with the right people, I think we're all agreeing.
Michael Bay's Super Mario Brothers.
All right, round 5. Warner Brothers announced a tie-in video game to Mad Max Fury Road to be released this September, and we all love that movie, and that sounds like could be a very fun video game, which opened up the question we thought would be fun for this panel. What movie needs a tie-in video game? So pick a movie that doesn't have one, and what would the video game be that we want to see and play as? And this time, it's you, Jermaine, leading us off.
Well, what is one of the big things about video games that we love? We love boss fights. We're on a show called Movie Fights. We like to see conflict. What movie has that built in perfectly? Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill, where you have a kick-ass character who is amazing with a blade, and she has to defeat all of these people who have wronged her, and going to the ultimate, of course, Bill. So you can have training sequences like she has in the movie. You can start there and sort of learn as like a tutorial of like how to be good with your Hattori Hanzo sword. Then you have to kill every single one of the Viper Squad. You can go through a full level. And then work to them, or you can just make it as a fighting game, sort of like a Street Fighter 2, maybe with rounds or something like that, like with a boxing angle. I don't know exactly how you do it. Those are 2 examples, but you definitely have a lot of sword play. You have a lot of combinations, and you have some story there. And I think it's just that movie is a video game almost, but with a really good story wrapped around it. I think, a Kill Bill video game done right with the right amount of violence, could be great.
Same story or alternate story?
I say same story because she wins at the end of the movie, so I don't want to see her go on and kill people that I don't care about. I'd rather fight the characters in the movie.
Got it. Andre, what's your pick?
This was actually tough for me because growing up on especially like the old Nintendo games, every movie had a video game. A lot of them were terrible, but they did exist. So I was like, what's a movie that doesn't have one? So I like fighting games. I'm a big fan of Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. But one of the games I grew up with a lot was Marvel vs. Capcom. I always thought that those were really good. And you got to have the different Capcom characters and all the different Marvel characters. Marvel, of course, is really big right now with its cinematic universe. So I think it would be really cool if you got the people that work behind like the Marvel vs. Capcom type games or the fighting games and created a Marvel Cinematic Universe fighting game. I think that would be amazing. So you would be able to play as any of the characters from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We get their actual likenesses, even maybe get some voice dialogue, and you get to fight as each other as these characters. And then as new movies come out, you could add new characters as DLC. I think that would really be cool. I mean, it's cool. It's fun that you can fight in any of these games as Iron Man, but to be able to fight as Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man or Chris Evans' Captain America, I think that'd be a really fun game. And if it's done really well, it could lead to being in tournaments and being a really cool, great movie tie-in with that. That's actually a good game and enjoyable as well, whether you're a big fan of the movies or if you just like to beat people up.
I guess Spider-Man could still be in that now.
He could now. He couldn't before, but now he'd be able to.
And Netflix's Daredevil could be in there.
Yeah. He gets a Netflix series. Coulson.
Spencer.
I'm gonna. He can't be
He's
killed.
He's a secret character.
He dies and just comes back. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a pick that should probably never have been a movie in the first place, but should have been a video game, and that's Crank. Crank, for those of you that don't know the premise, it's a character who, if his heart rate dips below a certain amount, he's going to die. So this is the perfect excuse for a gameplay mechanic where I'm imagining a 3D Grand Theft Auto style open world where you have a heart rate and you need to, kind of like Tony Hawk, chain together insane things to keep your heart rate up. You need to murder people. You need to drive really fast. You need to expose yourself to old women. These are all things that you need to chain together. That. Yeah, and then, and then that multiplies your heart rate. You can stab yourself with a hypodermic needle full of adrenaline. And this is kind of like it's an open world playground that's just, the movie is a great excuse to cause complete chaos and justify it. I think that it would probably be the most fun game I've ever played.
It's a good one. I'll admit it. It's really good. It's really
So you'd play that game.
I would play the crap out of that game.
Would you play this game?
No. I mean, I like fighting games, and I like the idea. Talk about an expensive game to make, to give those guys the likenesses and stuff.
For eternity.
Yeah, I know, right? That game, and I love the DLC angle of it, but at the same time, it's just you'd have to do something different, Where like my game, at least like maybe you could build up to, you could like go through a level and then end at a fight. If it's just fighting, like that's the problem with those games I always had, like Mortal Kombat. The story never dragged me in. Once I beat it with one character, like do I really want to see every character's ending? I don't really care as much.
Yeah, to me, your game is Marvel versus Capcom minus Capcom. It's just that game exists.
But with Chris Hemsworth as well.
They have Chris
Very
Hemsworth's
expensive
voice.
skins.
It's a really expensive fighting game, which is fun, but there's such a high barrier to entry for fighting games because you have to learn all the moves and you have to get really good to have any fun. With Crank, you can just turn it on and start mashing buttons, and you're stabbing yourself with needles and shooting old people.
Yeah, see, I would think that, but see, the reason why I went with the fighting game, because I think particularly with the Marvel Universe being such this mainstream thing, I'm thinking of it like in the course of like Smash Brothers. Like it's a game where, yes, there are people who are hardcore and know it, and there's also people who just casually can come in and play and have a good time. The worries that I have is because I look at the history of, let's turn a movie into a video game, and lately we've had some good stuff that at least go a little bit different, bit of a departure from the movies themselves. But I see something like Kill Bill, or I see something like Crank. I've seen those types of movies be like, we're gonna make a video game version of them too, and they always turn out terrible because they either try to get so close to the movie that it ends up just being like, well, I can just watch the movie, or they get like some B team to make it because they just feel like, oh, it's a license, so we can just do whatever. People are gonna buy it anyway, and I just don't feel like sometimes those movie video games get that really good detail that we see from original IPs. So that's what I would worry about with both of those games, is it could end up being something that's just kind of convoluted and complicated. I mean, Charlie's Angels had a video game, and I can tell you.
A lot of things had a
Remember the
video game.
Wayne's World video game?
Wayne's World.
Wow, I don't even know.
Oh my God.
Really hard.
Yeah.
Almost any movie that you can name from the 90s, early 2000s had a video game, and they were all terrible.
But there is newer stuff.
for
like,
GoldenEye.
Except for
GoldenEye.
GoldenEye
There it
is
is.
a
There it
great
is.
example. Shadow of Mordor, loosely Lord of the Rings-y. Like, it can be done.
The Matrix game was pretty fun.
One of the
Quick,
Matrix games is
but it
really
was
fun.
I like the
Yeah.
Super Star Wars games are not bad.
Super Star Wars is great. I think Crank, the closer you get to the movie, the better the game's going to be. That movie is a video game. It's a sequence of crazy things strung together with not a lot of plot holding it together. And the Kill Bill one, I think it could go either way. Like, that could be really fun, or it could be a generic, like, beat-em-up game.
Yeah.
That without, like, the new gameplay mechanic or some idea of how it's going to be different from a different one, that it could be good. It's a good framework for a game, but like, I don't know what the game is there. And then with Crank, I think you can imagine just a crazier Grand Theft Auto, and if you stay still too long, you explode. Is super fun.
But I feel like our crazier Grand Theft Auto is just Grand Theft Auto. I mean,
you can go crazy.
Or
There's Saints Row.
Or
there's,
Saints
like,
Row. Yeah, Saints Row is essentially Crank. I mean, we pretty much have that game. You can just customize his clothing. But yeah, and Kill Bill would also be very expensive. You're talking about likenesses. Like that would be a very expensive.
You
game.
only had to pay for Statham.
Statham will take anything.
We'll probably do it.
Statham's in.
All right, very fun. I'm gonna pick. Go with Crank. I
Yeah.
think you pulled off the angle there. You had the right argument. I think they took you down because it really is Marvel just minus Capcom, and with very expensive skins. And I think yours is fun, but his was a little funner. New mechanic. Spencer for the point. Dan, anything to mention on that?
Just that Flux Magazine ranked Wayne's World as the 19th worst video game of all time.
All time.
Of all
and
time.
It
then
was really hard and not very good.
the most famous is
Excellent,
E.T., right?
excellent.
There's
Yeah.
a landfill full of E.T.s somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a great
Docu-
documentary about that on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Atari Game Over.
Yeah.
Round 6. Now, this is a hint to next week's Honest Trailer because it's about a group of high school kids who grow up and form Entourage.
Oh, yeah.
What could it be?
I wonder what our Honest Trailer is.
Inside Out.
The
Obviously,
best friends.
Inside Out.
Yeah.
Sex in the City. But that opened up a very fun question that we got from Jazz Karat. Jazz Karit? You want to say that? Jazz Karat?
Yeah.
Saying your name
Let's
wrong.
not move forward till we get it.
Anyway, I apologize for saying your name wrong, but it's important I want to manage his name because I want to congratulate him because in honor of graduation coming soon for many people, including Jazz Karat.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you,
congratulations.
Jazz. Congrats.
Stay in school.
Jay.
What is the best high school movie? And this, quick note, this movie has to be about the events and characters of a high school. Example, Back to the Future does not count simply because it stars a high school kid. Everyone make sense?
Yeah.
All right, Andre, you're telling us first. What's your high school?
Yeah, that was the tough part. Was like, oh, every movie I can think of is like Bill and Ted, right? No, I get it. Now, I had to go with Clueless. I thought that Clueless was a really good high school movie, and what I really like about Clueless is the problem that I have sometimes with high school movies, why I'm usually not really that into them, is because I understand that when you are a high school kid, a lot of things feel very dramatic, but you start learning as you get older that some of those things that you thought were so insane and so much drama was not really. It was just because that was how you felt at the time. Clueless is a really fine line of really showcasing high school life, particularly California high school life, while at the same time being a satire of it, while being able to make fun of it and make light of it and show some of the silly parts about it and remind us, you hear all the day about the kids today with their iPhones and all that stuff, and you look at that movie and you can say like, no, the technology has changed, the styles have changed, but the kids are still the same. Like that, like the superficial mentality that people think you have today because of social media is right there in that movie, and it also, but it still also has a lot of heart to it. And I thought the cast did a really good job. It was, at the time, relatively newcomers: Alicia Silverstone, Stacey Dash, Brittany Murphy, Donald Faison. It's like a lot of great people in that movie, and it's just funny. It's just a really well done movie, and it's the reason why you have Mean Girls today.
Spencer.
Speaking of Mean Girls.
Oh, snap.
No, it's very gruel of you to pick that. I'm going to go for Mean Girls. I love Clueless, but I think that this is a better high school movie because you were saying like, you look back and you realize that the high school stuff didn't matter. I think it's easy to forget that when you're in it, the insanity is real, and nothing captures the warlike aspect of high school better than Mean Girls, that it is do or die every day, and it's a battle just to get through it. Mean Girls captures that perfectly for me. You have a peak Lindsay Lohan at the height of her talent and beauty
And powers.
and powers, and it's like catching a double rainbow during a solar eclipse because that never happened again. So it's a beautiful moment in time to see what could have been. It's the funniest high school movie. It's got the most quotable and the most laughable lines. Tina Fey wrote it pre-30 Rock, and it has that kind of snappy quality to it that I don't think that other movie does. And, if nothing else, it's a really easy on the eyes cast. It's got Lacey Chabert, Amanda Seyfried, Rachel McAdams, Lizzie Kaplan, just all super talented people who went on to do great things. Fun to watch.
Jermaine, what's your pick?
Both very fetch selections,
Stop
but
trying to make it happen.
I know, right? But neither of those movies would exist without my movie, which is John Hughes' The Breakfast Club.
Oh, that's really funny. We went from okay.
Yeah.
So is this the 90s versus the 80s versus the 2000s?
It's a very, existential round of movie
Right.
fights.
And it was John Hughes' first movie, and he went on to make some of the great other even high school movies, but this was sort of his bread and butter. It's a timeless story of 5 different stereotypes, or archetypes more, not really stereotypes, of high school. So anybody who watches can link onto somebody. And it's timeless because while they don't have the technology of today, they have the same problems as people in high school do today. They have the problems with their parents. They're worried about being popular. They're worried about their grades, all these things that you worry about. Every character in there sort of encompasses all that. It's also funny. It's also really touching. It's got some great music in it. It's a top to bottom, pretty much perfect movie that's completely actually set in the school. And now it's just infinitely referenced from Pitch Perfect on down. It was the first Brat Pack movie. Again, they went on to do it. It's just a seminal, iconic movie that is one of the best ever.
Guys, why is your movie better than The Breakfast Club?
It's tough. They're all so good. You guys are saying that yours are timeless. Mean Girls is the only one that's timely, that is set in the modern day, and you got to give it some edge of a point for that, just because this is what high school still looks like right now. You can watch Mean Girls, and it still feels like the present day. The only problem with Breakfast Club, gosh, that's tough. I guess it's like Anthony Michael Hall in the end does everyone's homework.
That's
and
true.
they all hook up with each other, and the nerd is still stuck writing the letter, and then they all.
But that would have
Pretty
happened.
real.
That would have happened. I mean, and he would have been fine with it because
kind
he
of
got to be
undercuts
friendly,
the
probably.
movie a little bit. That like, oh, we're all capable of different things. Similarly, I never liked it that Ali Sheedy, right?
Yeah.
That her arc is completely changing who she is and changing her look and being like, oh, I can be pretty and take off my eyeliner. I thought she was way cuter before, and it's like also undercutting the message of the film that she can get a complete makeover and now she's just a stereotypical cute girl.
No, she does. Well, she changes her look, yes, but I think she's still who she is who she is. She's still the klepto, and yeah, it does undercut it maybe on the surface that he does their homework, but that's who he is. That's what he's good at. That's how he relates to these people. He uses what he's good at to become friends with them.
You know what doesn't do that? Clueless. Because when they change Brittany Murphy's character, you see that in her transformation, she then becomes a very hated thing, or she plays into the superficiality when all she wanted to do was just be with old Breckenmeyer, watch him go do skateboarding. And so you learn that you can learn something different about a person, because they were like, oh, don't be that stoner, but then find out that that's actually the right person for her. Cher learns that it's not all about the fashion and the clothing, but that there is, something about the people, to the fact that she ends up with Ant-Man. And
that's my only nitpicky problem with that movie, is that she's like a 16-year-old who ends up with her like 20-year-old stepbrother.
Yes, that's the happy ending.
That was a little bit creepy in retrospect, and then it just makes me sad to watch Brittany Murphy.
And I love Clueless as much as I love Mean Girls.
Not Lindsay Lohan?
Yeah, different kind of sad.
My problem with Clueless is that I feel like it's more of an LA movie or more of a 90s movie than it is a high school movie. I mean, it's set in high school. They're high school students, but how much time they actually spend in school? Mean Girls spends a good amount of time of school, then, probably like 20% out of school. And Clueless is probably 50-50, where Breakfast Club is, like 98% in school, except for when they walk out and walk into the school.
Yeah. The thing about Mean Girls, I really enjoy Mean Girls, but I guess I never even look at. I mean, I feel like it's more of a comedy movie that happens to be in high school as opposed to a high school movie. Like, I feel like Clueless, and I would even agree with Breakfast Club. I feel like it's a lot more about the characteristics of growing up in the school, where I feel like this was more. It was more like a situation of fighting this war, but the war happened to be this
Which
clique
is,
in high
to
school.
me, that's totally high school.
But I feel like that was a very one specific thing versus, seeing in a whole environment. I feel like it was more like this one girl came to this school and dealt with this one clique, as opposed to the other movies being like we're showing the entire school. We're showing like the different experiences of different people.
They had such a more fine granularity of cliques in Mean Girls because you had the cool Asians, you had the JV jocks, you had so many more than just the five. Than the five of the Breakfast Club. They're all great movies, though. It's tough to knock either of those down.
So, final word. Yeah, and go ahead, Andre. You can leave us your final thought.
I think that Clueless is one of those movies that you're going to enjoy, even though it's set in the 90s. You're going to enjoy it any decade, and can see that every decade, at every time, that kids are the same.
Spencer, last thought.
It's a movie with pretty much all girls in it that any guy would absolutely love to watch.
Jermaine, last thought.
Anybody in any time at any age can watch Breakfast Club and relate to it and remember and be nostalgic.
Oh, may I add one more thing? Just one more thing. One more thing.
Yes.
Coolio.
Not help.
I feel like that just knocked me out of
closing thoughts before I call a winner.
Just a quick correction for Jermaine. Breakfast Club was preceded by 16 Candles. So it was exactly
okay,
the
it's
first
the
one.
second movie.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, I think Jermaine's gonna get the point. I think you made the best arguments about your movie. They're all great movies, but you made some strong points, and I liked your point. You said it's timeless because it's true. They could still have technology in that movie. They weren't allowed to use it.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about, is what are they really doing when that's stripped away. And I think you also just did some good points of knocking down why the other two weren't as right. So Jermaine called it. Breakfast
Still
Club's
so
in.
good.
Thank you.
when they're going to remake that.
So that puts us at a score total of Spencer with 3 points. You're moving to the final round.
Woo!
Jermaine and Andre, you're tied.
Okay.
Whoa.
Wow. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do a tiebreaker question,
gosh.
similar to speed round rules, which we've rehearsed for you at home to try and help make this easier. We've rehearsed with our guests, so they all know how speed round works. We're going to do one speed round question right now.
Okay.
The winner will go on to the final battle. And the point will not carry.
Correct.
Because that's not fair, because Spencer doesn't have an odd to get that point.
Right.
All right. Everyone understand how speed round works?
Yes.
Yeah.
Those at home, you'll pick it up very quickly because it's going to be very clear. Let's cue the music. Tiebreaker question to move on to the speed round.
All right.
Hollywood's best Sean.
Connery.
Bean.
All right. You get to go first. Time on the clock. It's 15 seconds. Go.
James Bond, Indiana Jones. He's a legend. He's the best. Spencer. It'll be fun fighting you.
Based on the arguments, remember.
Yeah.
Andre, why Sean Bean?
Because he dies all the time.
Time's going.
Like I'm doing right now. He dies in every movie.
Time's up. Jermaine, you get 5 since you get to rebut you get 5 final seconds.
Sean Connery was the first 007. Versus Sean Bean.
He dies every time.
He wasn't the first 007. George Lazenby was, right?
No.
Oh, Connery was before Lazenby? That's right.
Well, he technically wasn't the first person to play James Bond. That was David
movie.
Niven.
Oh,
but he was the first.
Actually, and then Lazenby
yes.
was in the middle. That's right. Okay.
Lazenby
Anyway,
was, yes.
doesn't matter. You get the point, Sean
All right.
Connery. You got a little cocky. You almost did it.
Yeah, I know. All right.
If he had stayed and found something else, just say Game of Thrones. You can just throw something out there. But anyway, Jermaine moves on to the final round. Okay. Wow. Well, Andre,
Yeah.
the fans are gonna be disappointed.
I
but
told ya.
I hope you'll come back, and I hope you had fun.
I had a good time.
Good. We had a blast having you.
I'm
and
gonna
I
learn
may-
some more Sean's. Wayans. That's what I should have said. Wayans.
That would have been
Spelled
tough.
wrong. I think that's spelled the wrong way.
But it's still a Sean. It's still a Sean.
Patrick Flannery. All right.
All right, now moving on to the speed round. We asked for your feedback. It actually was very in between both ways, but the ultimate ruling here is I'm going to decide who wins unless I absolutely need help, and then in which case I will activate Andre and Dan to help me make a ruling. Otherwise, same rules apply as we just did in the tiebreaker round. We have 5 questions, so Jermaine, you're down by 1, so you need to definitely catch up here. Any questions?
Let's do it.
Let's activate the speed round. Best Steven Spielberg movie made after 2000.
8mm? Is that what it's called? 88? Super 8.
It's not a
Not a
Spielberg
Steven
movie.
Spielberg movie.
It's not?
No.
Oh my god.
Does that count?
J.J. Abrams trying to be a
Adventures of Tintin.
Tintin. Okay, you have to pick something. God. That shouldn't count. Or is he out? I think you should get a chance to say something.
Yeah. Spielberg. I don't want to say War of the Worlds.
5 seconds. Pick something.
Yeah. I can't pick.
4.
I got nothing.
You're not going to take World of War. Okay.
5 seconds.
All right, it's
Enjoy the
over.
point.
Jermaine gets the point. Wow. Dan, can you tell us some?
Catch Me If You Can, Munich.
Minority Report?
Minority Report. You have War of the
man.
Worlds.
You forget that I was blanking. Totally.
right.
Totally blanking.
Lincoln.
Yeah, that's true.
Warhorse.
None of my favorite movies, but I should have picked any of them.
Okay. Jermaine, now you've tied it up.
All right.
It's a tie game. Wow, Spencer, your Achilles heel right now. It's speed round, always. Ready. Question 2. Best DC superhero movie not starring Batman.
Superman 1.
Man of Steel.
Okay, time on the clock. He looks disappointed, but I'm not going to count that. You still have a shot here. Start the clock.
Superman 1 created and some say perfected the superhero genre. You have a perfect union of casting and character, and you have a movie that still holds up today and does justice to the character.
Man of Steel is highly entertaining. It's beautiful. I think it really delves into the Superman mythos in ways that the first movie doesn't do, and it's the setup to a whole new Superman.
You have a 5-second rebuttal.
No, it doesn't. It's a mixed movie. Superman's a good movie.
Okay, time up there. Oh, wow. That was tough. Gotta give it to Superman 1. And your
Of course.
arguments. You did it. You did it was close, but
Okay.
his rebuttal sadly did help.
It did. Of course it did.
5 seconds. I mean, all right.
I'm trying to think of some other ones. Green Lantern.
Well, you have 15 seconds.
Then the
he has
5
15 seconds.
Got it.
And then you get, since he gets a chance to rebut you, just to clarify.
Yeah.
The first person gets 15 seconds. The second person has an advantage because they get to rebut what the person said. So they get 15 seconds, and then you get a final 5 just to get one last point in because they have the opportunity to. All right. Round 3. At Cam Caruso Music. I wonder if he's related to David Caruso. He asked us on Twitter. Best movie with American in the title.
Oh my God. American Hustle.
And can we do Captain America? Is that legal?
No, this doesn't. American.
American.
Okay.
I said Hustle.
You said Hustle.
American Beauty.
Okay. Hustle versus Beauty.
David O. Russell, he creates a movie with, sort of, it's got a lot of drama, it's got a lot of suspense, it's got a lot of cool, fun, caper stuff, great performances, Oscar-winning performances, nominated probably, just top to bottom, strong.
American Beauty is just kind of one of a kind. It's a great deconstruction of the perils of suburbia, and Kevin Spacey, it's one of his best performances that he's ever done. And your movie is, some people love it, some people hate it. You can't not love American Beauty or be affected by it.
American Beauty won Best Picture, but it wasn't even close to the best movie that year, 1999.
I'm going to activate the jury on this one because I'm a little on the fence. Okay? So, Andre, based on the arguments, and Dan, based on the arguments, who made the right call there?
Well, none of you mentioned American Pie, but
Pick,
I wanted to say
Hustle,
American
I'm
Ninja.
based on the arguments.
I'm gonna go with Beauty.
Based on the arguments, Dan.
Beauty.
Beauty wins. That's where I was leaning, but I wanted to make sure. To be fair, I rolled the jury in. Beauty took it. Good job.
Mumble mouth, Jermaine.
Tough,
We
right?
all get this way, man.
It's okay. First time jitters.
So he's still in it, though, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You got to win the rest,
You're
right?
gonna win
1, 2,
the- yeah,
3, 4,
Jermaine, you're gonna have to
5.
sweep it.
You have to
from here
win
on
these
out.
two in order
Okay.
to win. So, Spencer, you win this, you take it.
All right.
Sean Bean.
Number 4. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Hollywood's best Tom.
Tom Cruise.
I heard
Tom
Jermaine
Hanks.
first.
Yeah, all right.
Cruise. I was like, I can do both.
Cruise, you said, and you said Hanks. Okay.
Tom Cruise can do it all. I mean, Magnolia, one of his best performances ever. Jerry Maguire, he's funny. He's a big action star. He's worked with all the best directors, from Steven Spielberg to all the way down the line. He's just iconic and has done it all.
Everything you just said, minus the action star, you can say about Tom Hanks. Plus, he's not a creepy weirdo. He's America's sweetheart, and you gotta love him.
Tom Cruise is a creepy weirdo, but people don't care. They still love him.
I feel like I have my opinion, but I'm going to activate the jury once more, just to be fair here,
Oh man.
because it's the ruling question. So, Andre and Dan, we'll start with you, Dan. Based on the arguments, Cruise or Hanks?
Based on the arguments, Cruise.
Based on the arguments, Cruise.
I gotta go Hanks.
Hanks. So you put it back to me. Which is fine, because that's my job. I think Creepy Weirdo was not a fair point, so I'm going to give it to Cruz.
Yeah.
Right.
That's fair.
And plus, that makes it more dramatic because now we get to the final one. Come on, we know you're producer.
So we're here at the final question, right?
Yes.
This is it. Winner of this takes all.
Well, if Jermaine answers correctly, we go to a tiebreaker.
okay.
Okay,
Wow.
okay. Oh, see, there
Okay.
you go.
Both of these movies are on cable. This is a choice of two. Which do you watch? Grown Ups 2 or Blues Brothers 2000?
Grown Ups 2.
Okay.
Best question ever.
That's good.
Grown Ups 2 is on the clock and start.
They're both unwatchable. At least with Grown Ups 2, you can just laugh at the movie instead of just be trapped in an existential hellhole that is Blues Brothers 2000 of going, why is this happening? You know all those guys suck. At least you can laugh at them instead of with them.
Blues Brothers 2000, at least you're sitting there and you're thinking of the first Blues Brothers, which is good, and Grown Ups 1 is not good. Dan Aykroyd, at least you have him, and the music, maybe you could find some enjoyment there.
It's better than Grown Ups 1.
Wait, what's better than Grown Ups 1?
Grown Ups 2.
Wow. Okay, I'm activating the jury again because I'm on the fence here. I have an opinion, but I don't want to do it based on that because these are quick. Andre, based on the arguments, Grown Ups 2 or Blues Brothers 2000?
Based on arguments and the fact that I've done it before, I gotta go with Blues Brothers 2000.
Dan.
Also based on the arguments, Blues Brothers 2000.
That's where I was leaning, but I wanted to make sure Blues Brothers 2000. Wow.
Yeah.
You're still in this.
Call him back.
All right, man, wow, this is it. Final
the last
tiebreaker, 2 in a
one.
row.
Final question. Winner of this takes it. Best Mission Impossible sequel.
Mission Impossible 3.
4.
Why 3?
3 was the one directed by Brad Bird, I believe.
Nope.
and-
Nope.
Oh no! Oh, it's a
Time's still going.
I picked the wrong movie.
3 is good, directed by J.J. Abrams. 4 is the best one, directed by Brad Bird. Burj Khalifa scene, full IMAX. It introduces Jeremy Renner as a character in the sequel, and I believe Simon Pegg's first movie too. Best of the series.
Yeah.
5-second rebuttal.
No, he picked my movie.
Wow, Jermaine Cook takes it.
Ah, it's the trivia.
Congratulations, Jermaine. Wow, you pulled through.
Wow, 3 in a row.
That's intense, right? How are you
Yes, it was.
feeling?
Thank you. I feel good. I feel happy.
We're gonna have to check the stats. That might be the biggest comeback in movie fights history.
/ biggest meltdown.
Well, he was down by 1. He was down by 1. I feel like we've had someone down by 3.
Well, I mean, starting at the beginning, it was pretty.
yeah, it was pretty. All right, wow. Kudos, Jermaine.
Thank you.
Great game.
That's
Andre,
fun.
great game. Spencer, so close.
Forever the bridesmaid.
So close. All right, wow, that was intense. And I love when it gets down to the wire like that. It sucks for you, but it's fun for us to watch.
The points don't matter, right?
All right, wow. And for those of you saying, get buzzers, shut up. I'm not getting buzzers because then it's just about who buzzed in first. And then they're going to take a second to think about which is the right answer. And it's about who said it first because you got to actually process it. So stop telling me you get buzzers. You don't want buzzers, I promise. And it's literally whoever presses the buzzer first. So anyway, kudos. That was great. That was fun. Thank you guys so much. Really quick wrap up. What'd you think? Tell us below in the comments what you want us to fight about next week. Don't forget to check out the shirts. And don't forget our new RSS feed. Link is in the comments below and on YouTube. I want to thank our panelists here. Spencer Gilbert, man. Spencer J. Gilbert on Twitter. Wow. Close call.
Close call. I got
Tough competitor,
I
dude.
got to go back to that waterfall. Keep practicing.
I was sure I was going to win.
You brought it.
Your stuff was so good.
He was
Really
good, right?
really
Yeah,
good.
I mean, speed round is really, we got to get you to practice that more, I guess, huh?
Just a trivial pursuit.
Jermaine Lucier, at Jermaine Lucier. Thanks for coming. Did you have fun?
I had a great time, and I'm walking out of here undefeated. I'm never coming back.
And then finally, wow, we were so honored to finally make you have your graces show up. We really are, and I know the fans are because they've been asking for it. Andre Meadows, at Black Nerd. How was it?
It was
lived
a
to
great-
expectations?
There was some of it I felt really good about. So I felt like I was the Tomorrowland of performances. No, it was a lot of fun, and I would love to do this again. And
Good.
I will
You're
think
all-
of more Sean's.
You're all well back, and now it always is even better the next time because now you know what you're in for.
Yeah.
Dan Murrell, at Murrell Dan on Twitter.
At
What'd
Murrell
you
Dan
think?
on Twitter. This was a great battle. I have to fact check myself real quick. David Niven was not the first actor to ever play James Bond. It was Barry Nelson. So it's my bad.
Wow. In what movie?
Nice
It
job,
was the
reality.
TV movie of Casino Royale. Also, congratulations to Christian Colson, who's graduating
Yes,
this weekend.
Christian.
Brother of our
Congratulations.
super fan Devin Colson.
Devin and Christian, we love you guys. Thanks for watching.
Oh, yeah.
Follow me on Twitter at Andy Signore on Twitter and Instagram. Please tell us what you want to see next. And that's it. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for watching. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Every podcast we put on YouTube comes with this kick-ass graphic listing all the topics your favorite Screen Junkies podcasters are talking about. If you click the topics, you can skip around and choose your own podcast battle royale. Go ahead, try them all. If you haven't already, subscribe to Screen Junkies on YouTube to join us for future fights. Or if you prefer to listen on iTunes, click the logo to download an audio version.